And looking at Keandre Lambert Smith's profile a little bit more, you can see that he is fast, doesn't jump terribly high, and has a good broad jump. His strengths are that he works back to the throw, he rescues low throws, locates and makes winning adjustments, attacks high point with sudden springy hops, adequate one move runner after the catch. His weaknesses are below average long speed, defenders sit in the pocket on shorter routes, telegraph hitches and combats, allowing defenders to dart in, lacks suddenness or burst to separate out of turns, lacks special teams value to return to cover. And looking at his speed graph, you can see that he has above average speed, but his best area of speed is between 20 and 30 yards, and his fastest top speed is 23.23 miles per hour. He's average at the 10-yard split. If you sort the wide receivers on NFL IQ by arm length, he has one of the longer arm lengths at 32.5. So although he can't jump terribly high, he still has long arm reach. NFL IQ also allows you to use historical data, and you can narrow the search based on weight and other athletic characteristics. So I went ahead and did that, and Keandre Lambert Smith is similar to Van Jefferson, Jackson Smith and Njigba, Rashawn Bateman, Chris Olave, Ja'Cory Brooks. So that was interesting. If you look at Tre Harris' speed profile, he has below average speed at 4.5. He is definitely much slower at the end of his 40-yard 40. However, his best route, according to reception perception, is the 9 route. He has a success rate of 61.5%. The other routes close to that, the corner, post, out, and dig, are not too successful, but he is a contested catcher, so the speed is not terribly relevant. He's also more of a savvy route runner, the use of head fakes, and understands zone leverage really well. If you look at NFL IQ with similar athletic characteristics as Tre Harris, some of the names that pop up are Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Polk, who was drafted by the Buccaneers last year, Javon Baker, who was drafted by the Patriots. They used our 4th round pick that we traded to move up to get McConkey last year, Cedric Wilson, Romeo Doubs, Amon St. Brown, Keenan Allen, and Josh Palmer. So we have the next coming, hopefully you'll be the next coming of Keenan Allen and Josh Palmer. If you look at Omarion Hampton's athletic profile on NFL IQ, he had a good combination of a high athleticism score and production score. He's probably one of the few guys that can run a 4.4 and is also 221 pounds.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Pretty high vertical, pretty good broad jump, and you could tell he's pretty strong at 18 reps at 225. If you look at his similar athletic characteristics on NFL IQ, some of the names that pop up are Trent Richardson, Willis McGahee, Najee Harris, Todd Gurley, Steven Jackson, Lendell White, Marshawn Lloyd, Josh Jacobs, Chris Henry, Eddie Lacy, Ramondre Stevenson. Omarion doesn't have the fastest 3-cone or short shuttle, but he does have a nice horizontal sidestep that I've seen in his highlights. So he has the ability to bounce it fairly well. It may not be fast, but he does have a nice stiff arm that he uses in combination with his strong legs that he makes it more difficult to tackle when he cuts horizontally. So unless you're hitting him in the legs, you're probably not going to tackle him. One of his strengths is described as a sudden lateral jump cut to elude penetration. This has a weakness of slow vision. However, from the highlights I saw, he does stay patient for blocks to develop. And one other thing that I saw was he seemed to run a lot behind Willie Lampkin. Willie was really good at turning his defender. He would grab with one hand and push with the other and just create a lane for Hampton to run through. And I was thinking of the lineman that we have, who could be that guy. I thought Slater seems to do that well, and it got me thinking Mechty does really well climbing to the second level, and Slater and Zion do really well blocking down. So if you did if you pulled alt, let Mechty climb the second level, block down with Zion, and Slater could be a good go-to run play. You could also maybe even pull Bozeman or whoever the center is. Then I was looking at Oronde Gadsden's similar profile, and initially all that popped up was Calvin Johnson, aka Megatron. I was like, wow, that's really good. But then I realized I'd only selected wide receivers, so
You're a loser.
Selected wide receivers and tight ends, and a lot more athletic profiles came up. So he has a broad jump of 9.6, which is not great. So he's not very fast off the get off. He doesn't have a very high vertical at 34 inches. Those legs must not be very powerful. Some similar profiles to that are Cade Stover, the Texans, Adam Troutman, Josh Oliver, Martellus Bennett. Travis Kelce came up in terms of height and weight. Kellen Winslow came up. He has a broad jump of 10. Kyle Pitts, Tyler Warren, Dallas Goedert, Dalton Kincaid. So some good names came up. Hunter Henry, Larry Fitzgerald, Des Bryant. If we look at maybe how they will use the new wide receivers, I personally think McConkey would be best on the outside because he has deep threat. He could also work underneath from that position. Tre Harris could be used more in the slot. He can also be used more in the run game, and then from there he can work his deep stuff if he needs to. And you can use Disley in the slot, or that could be Oronde Gadsden, or it could be Mike Williams, and then you could use KLS as an X on the other side, and then he could work more downhill stuff or deep stuff, and then Mike Will could be working deep stuff as well from the slot. If you were to do a spread, I think considering Najee's and Omarion Hampton's downhill run ability, I was thinking a spread offense would work really well, kind of like what the Commanders use, Chiefs use, and other teams. One play you could do is have Mekdi climb to the second level. You could trap with Zion, and then down block with Alt, and then out block with the slot receiver, whoever that is. You could do this play where Harris kind of comes on a drag. Ladd does kind of like a deep crosser. You have Mike Will on a post corner, and then KLS is good at curl, so you can do a little curl on that far right side. You could also do a GT counter. It's blocked down with Slater, Zion, Bozeman. You could try to have him come all the way across to 5-tech defensive tackle right here, and have Mike Will block that backside. That'd be kind of tough. You could try to have a fullback in there as well, or you can have Disley as a fullback position, help on that backside. Or you could probably even have Najee in there with Omarion. You could have Harris run his deep stuff from the slot, and then you could have McConkey. You can do everything from the outside position to X position. You could also start utilizing QJ in the slot as well. This has the same with Tre Harris, or even have him rotate in with KLS. Or rotate in with Mike Will. You could do motion stuff with him, and I didn't really do stuff for Conklin.